Hey everybody, Real Estate Ninja here. I know it's sort of a big deal, or is it? Guys, we're going to talk about real estate today. We're going to talk about changes in the market, and changes, they are happening fast. Everything from new construction, where people are having to pull out of their and possibly lose deposits because they cannot simply afford the payment anymore because the construction was taking longer than they thought, and or they lost their key lock-in rate when mortgage rates were like 3%, and the threes just last December. So there's a lot of changes in new construction and existing homes available. And so we're going to dive right in. Found a really interesting story. And here we go. It's entitled Housing Market Update. Homes are taking longer to sell. This is out of Redfin, and we're going to go through it because there's some really interesting points here. It says here, buyers can now take their time touring and considering homes before making an offer. Still, selection remains very limited despite supplies being up, as few homes are being listed and even fewer are selling. And that goes for even my location here in wine country in California, where we have a very thin real estate inventory sitting on the market. But even with that, we are seeing now homes stay on the market up to 66 days. This one I just noticed had an aggressive price drop. Even though there's not a lot of homes for sale, we're seeing that buyers are taking their time putting in offers because of all the news, and sellers are starting to get a little panicked because they were used to 7 days, 10 days on the market, and now we're seeing over 30 days on the market, and they're starting to panic a little bit and they're dumping prices. So check this out. A typical home sold during the 4 weeks ending July 17th, 19 days on market, 1 day longer than last year. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but it is. It says this marks the first time in 2 years that the median time on market has posted a year-over-year gain. Pending home sales fell more than they have since May of 2020, and the total number of homes for sale posted its biggest increase since August of 2019, despite fewer homes hitting the market than this time last year. Home sale prices continue to fall, down another 0.6% from the 4-week period ending July 10th. Now, a lot of you might say, Ninja, that isn't that big of a deal, and 1 extra day on the market and 0.6% is not that big of a deal, but it actually is. And the reason why is because we have crested the top. We have hit the peak in home prices and market mania, as far as buyers flooding the market and trying to buy up a gobble of homes. We've hit that crest, and now we're coming down, and it's all over the news. And what you're going to see is a very rapid slowing of the real estate market. And what's crazy is that this cooling period came during the yearly boom times. Spring and summer are very good times for selling homes, but what you're seeing right now is it's already starting to crest and head downward from June into July. Another thing that's going to be very interesting is we're coming up on the fall and holiday season. The holiday season is absolutely horrible year after year to buy and sell homes. Actually, that's when I buy all of my homes, is in Christmas time, because I have the best selection during Christmas. So that's a year over year. That is when I have bought the most real estate, because I take advantage of everybody not being, nose down in the books, taking a look at the market, trying to take advantage of the market. They're at home wanting to spend time with family, and I'm out trying to flip real estate. So that has been very well, but it's going to continue to decelerate at a very rapid pace over this next 5 months. Now it says here, buyers who earlier this year had to race to beat the competition can now take their time touring homes and perhaps even waiting to see if the seller drops the price, said Redfin chief economist Daryl Fairweather. Still, few homes are being listed. So if your dream house hits the market, you should negotiate hard. And now that you have the power to do that. The value may fall in the near term, but if you plan to live there for 5 or 10 years, you'll almost certainly gain home equity over the horizon. Sellers, on the other hand, may want to list sooner rather than later before home prices fall more. Now, I'd like to address this right here. If you plan to live there 5 or 10 years, right? And he says you'll almost certainly gain. Well, obviously, that's a CYA thing right there. And I want you to realize that. The Great Depression took 14 years for the stock markets to recover back to where they were. Right? The Great Recession, we saw it take multiple years. I want to say off the top of my head, 4 years, 5 years at least to get the Dow Jones back to where it was. The NASDAQ took forever to recover, right? On a point basis. Same thing with housing. housing took well over 5 years in my area to recover from its highs and then go from its trough, its lows, back up to where we were break even. It was well over 5 years for that. And so I want you to understand that he's absolutely right. If you're planning on staying for the long term, yes, even if we have a massive crash, houses will come back. And the reason why is because the one guaranteed thing is our currency keeps getting devalued. So if you look at it in those terms, you're going to make your money back. But if you look in the terms of how long it took you to put that money into that home and what your wages, how those are growing, that's a whole nother story. Okay. So that's something you want to look at. Now, a couple just indicators I wanted to go over, leading indicators of home buying activity that Redfin put out. For the week ending July 21st, 30-year mortgage rates fell to 5.5%. That's still really high in comparison to last December. This was down from a 2022 high of 5.8, but up from 3.1 at the start of the year, like I said. Fewer people searched for homes for sale on Google. Searches during the week ending July 16th were down 23% from earlier in the year. And not only that, sell my home, actually, just a little side note, is spiking right now. The searches on Google for sell my home. So totally different. We're going from a seller's market to a buyer's market now. The seasonally adjusted Redfin Home Buyer Demand Index, a measure of requests for home tours and other home buying services from Redfin agents, was down 17% year over year during the week ending July 17th. Guys, 17% is a big number. At 10%, investors start to really look and go, what's going on? At 17%, that's a big change. Touring activity as of July 10th was down 2% from the start of the year compared to 22% increase at the same time last year. Now, that is also a big deal because to go from a positive 22 to a down 2%, big swing, that's 24%. And then lastly, mortgage purchase applications were down 19% from a year earlier during the week ending July 15th to the lowest level since April of 2020, while the seasonally adjusted index was down 7% week over week. And just so you know, that is a very big deal. And it's not just the mortgage rates that are freaking people out and getting them not to. That's not what you should only be looking at. You should be looking at April of 2020. As right now, mortgage purchase applications are down 19%, and that is compared to its lowest level since April of 2020. That's when the entire nation was shut down. So absolutely, there was nothing. So if we're getting close to those numbers, that is something you really want to watch. All right, guys, I'm going to link the story below. I hope you got something out of this. Guys, this is Real Estate Ninja. It's a new channel. If you haven't checked it out, please hit the subscribe button and the like button if you like the content. We're going to be focusing more on real estate issues because the real estate crash has now begun, and we are going to really start amping up the information for you guys. All right, guys, that being said, I thank you so much. The Real Estate Ninja is out.